Grab you a cup of coffee, and today we're going to talk about an overview, not review, that'll be at the end of the year, of Chemistry 101. Hey everyone, in our last homeschooling video we talked about the Biology 101 DVDs collection that you can use to teach biology class for high school. Today we're moving on to the next movie in the series and the next class in the series, which is Chemistry 101. If you're unfamiliar with the 101 series, it is a series that we personally purchased it from Answers in Genesis because it was the cheapest place to purchase all three, the Biology 101, Chemistry 101, and Physics 101, all as a complete set. And you could, at the time that we purchased it, you could buy all three from Answers in Genesis. It's normally like $210. I think we paid $170 plus Tennessee sales tax on it. So that was why we bought it from them. I only know of it from Answers in Genesis. Master Books I've heard possibly sells it, but there's no like definite. It's just called the 101 series. And you can buy it straight from their website, but also like they link back to Answers in Genesis as well. So because it's sold on Answers in Genesis, just to start from the beginning, I know not everybody who watches us is looking for Christian perspective curriculum. I'm going to 100% tell you this is biblically based chemistry teaching. I know some of you are like, it's chemistry, it's chemicals, it's the periodic table. The way that the history leading up to the periodic table is taught is from a biblical perspective. And it 100% starts in the book of Genesis, teaching chemistry, and the first time that we see chemistry being practiced. So if that's not for you, then the rest of this video may not be for you. If you're okay with that perspective or interested in studying how chemistry is taught from a biblical perspective, then I highly recommend that you check this out. So again, this is an overview, this is not a review. At the time of filming this, I am only 5 weeks into teaching this to my two 11th grade students, which my 9th and 8th grader also watch it as well. They just don't do the additional work and quizzes that go with it. Let's go ahead and talk about some basic facts. Some of you, if you watch the Biology 101, this may be repeat, but I promise I will get to like just focusing on Chemistry 101. So basic facts. Number one, this is a DVD set. It has 4 discs in it, and each of those discs you can select differently which video you want to do. I'll also talk in a minute as well, like there's more labs in this than there was the other one, but it works out really well with the movie and the labs, and I'll explain that in a minute. But there are 4 discs in that. So number one, you do have to have a DVD or Blu-ray player. Our Blu-ray player plays DVDs, no problem. I don't know if anything newer than ours does. Ours is not that old. It's like 3 years old. So our Blu-ray player plays DVDs. Our van actually plays these. We've had no problem playing these on any kind of DVD or Blu-ray player. The other catch is the last disc in this set. You can see there's 4 discs. If you look at the bottom, and it has these little fuzzy pieces in here to keep them safe. If you look at the bottom, it says, I don't know if it's too blurry to see or not, but it says Guidebook and Accreditation Program. To do this DVD course curriculum for our high school students, had to purchase a disk drive to plug into, I don't remember, Matt does it. It's either the HDMI or the USB port on our computers. I want to say it's USB port on our computers, because all of the written work and the how to use this as an accredited program are on the last disc of here. So if you don't have a way to rip a disc, it may not be for you. I have heard from some other people that if you email them and say, hey, I have a DVD player, I want to do this, I don't have a disc player, they possibly will email you the accreditation program when you show proof of purchase. That's not a definite, but I've heard that's an option. Once you have the guidebook and accreditation program, and I'll explain the 2 differences in those really quick, because again, I did review this last week, and I don't want everybody who watched the Biology 101 to see everything all over again. Once you have those 2 onto your computer, then you have 2 separate files. There's the guidebook and there's the accreditation program. The guidebook is what your teenager reads to go along with the video that they watched. Honestly, from our personal opinion and perspective, the guidebook is just meant to be additional information for either a reading learner, or if you just need some backup information for something that was said in the video. I have no idea what that just was, if it was either the power blinking or a bird flying over the window, whatever. That was weird. The accreditation program is basically your mom teacher checklist. So what you do is and the chemistry one is a little more in depth than the Biology 101 was. So like for Biology 101, just a real quick overview, it teaches biology through the week of creation. So like basically the way that we did it, when we took out some other perspectives of it, again, watch that video for the whole perspective of it, is like we spent 1 month on each thing. But with the chemistry, because there's more to it, it's every 2 weeks you're on something new. So for like you would do weeks 1 through 2 are together, weeks 3 through 4, etc., etc. So it's a little bit different, and a little bit more complex. So the accreditation program though breaks it down into those weeks for you. Week 1, watch the video. Week 2, and then basically from there it breaks down. If your umbrella school, your state requires you to record specific number of hours taught, it breaks it down into how to credit off those hours to turn into your state umbrella school, whatever you have to use. In Tennessee, we only have to report days, and we only have to tell them what classes our kids are doing, and like a basic understanding of what books we may or may not be using, we're supposed to be using. So like all I did for this one was I say Chemistry 101. I didn't have to put like every additional supplemental video I do, or any of the travel science that we did instead for a week, or anything like that. But some states I know require more than that, and the accreditation program is great for that. If you wanted to, you could actually print it off and check off. Week 1, we watched the video. First week video, 35 minutes, so we did 35 minutes today. And then there's hands-on stuff. Sometimes they may ask you to check out like a juvenile or non-juvenile book on a topic, or it may tell you to read a book on a specific topic, or watch a video on a specific topic. And then chemistry, of course, chemistry is more lab work than biology. So chemistry has labs. Every 2 weeks you have a new lab, and all of that is broken down. Plus, one thing that chemistry has that biology didn't need, because biology labs were not as in-depth as the chemistry ones and have different needs than the biology ones do. Biology ones, some of the labs were go to a zoo, whereas chemistry, you're actually doing chemical compounds. So each week there is a list, like weeks 1 through 2, you need XYZ from the store. And I love that you actually, like at the beginning of the accreditation program, it's a shopping list, and then you just plug in on your calendar like what weeks or for me, like what I would do is I would just plug in and be like, oh, week 1 through 2, I'm going to need this from the store. Week 3 through 4, I need this from the store. And then that way, the Friday before those weeks start, I can buy what I need for those lab works. And some of it's basic, like this week we needed baking soda and candles. That's pretty basic. And we did still have some lab equipment left over. We already had a microscope. We already had a Bunsen burner. We already had, for health class we needed them, but like we already have tuning forks and stimulants and stuff like that. So, or like, okay, I said stimulants, but that's not what I mean. I mean like hands-on learning, sensory. We have a sensory box that we use to teach like the 5 senses on a high school level and stuff like that. So like we already have some of that, but then like there's like this one, I didn't have baking soda and I didn't have candles, but it had that whole shopping list, so I could use that. So the accreditation program is really good for that, even if you don't have to use the checklist. And also it's good for me too, like if I feel like they need more than just watching the video. Plus the other thing that's great about the videos is on the lab work for Chemistry 101, different from Biology 101, is some people either don't have the budgetary means, or they don't have the ability to go to a store or go online, or have the money to shop online to get what they need for the chemistry class. And some moms just prefer, it's just not their thing to do hands-on, or some kids just like get way overstimulated doing hands-on activities. Your kids with this, now like for me, I try not to say this because like in the state of Tennessee, you require 4 hours of lab work to pass chemistry, like actually doing the lab work. But in some cases, if your kid just cannot handle doing the hands-on labs, you can watch the video and it has 100% of the steps of the labs and what happened in that lab. And then whenever you actually go to do the lab, if you are going to do the lab, it has a timestamp of where in the video to find it, on what movie to find it on. So that was a pretty cool addition that Chemistry 101 had that Biology 101 did not, because again, the chemistry needed it and biology did not. Other things that we've noticed so far is it basically starts with the history of chemistry, starting with the Bible. So it goes back to what Matt and I wanted, which was a biblical foundation, because it is so easy to go out and find a non-biblical perspective of chemistry and physics. It just is. It's hard to find a good biblical basis of teaching your kids that you can believe in the Bible and science and still practice science. And so it gives a biblical perspective of the foundation of chemistry and how chemistry was founded from biblical perspectives and from Christians who put Bible first, then science. So I really love that it started with that, because like for me as a parent, it kind of eased my mind of like, okay, this is not going to be chemistry with a little verse here and there. No, it's showing the kids that chemistry started in the Bible, and shows it from a different perspective. And then it also starts adding in the lab work and the hands-on and teaching science in such a fun and creative way for teenagers. Like, they got to dance quarters on top of cold glass bottles one day for a lab work that Matt did with them while I went to a homeschool mom fellowship one night. And then we're going to be putting candles out without blowing them or touching them here in a couple of days. So like fun experiments like that. But yeah, so far my personal opinion is I really like it. Like I said, the con was we did have to buy a disc player, like a disc player for computers, because both of our PCs did not have disk drives on them, and most of them nowadays don't. So we did have to buy a separate one to plug into the computer to rip these off with. So that did add kind of like the cost back into purchasing this set. But so far we're pretty happy with it. The other thing I like about this too, like I mentioned with Biology 101, is if we're having a day where we're travel schooling and we're going to have a long drive and I want to stay caught up on science, you will get just as much from watching the videos as you do from watching the videos and reading the guidebook. Like, I don't think you could just read the guidebook and do the quizzes. I think you would need the videos. Like, the guidebook helps and it gives some more in-depth, but the way that he explains stuff in the videos, I feel like you get more out of it from the videos. And honestly, you're buying it as a video set, so I would think you have to do the videos, but you don't have to do the guidebook. The guidebook is extra. It's there if you need or want it. I will mention this, like I said with the Biology 101, one of the ways I do it with my kids is the guidebook does have all the quizzes and the answer keys. So if you want your kids to have access to the guidebook like I did, I open it on, we own a copy of Adobe because of YouTube, and I have access to several Adobe things, and I'm the main owner of it in our home. So what I do is I go on my computer and I edit the PDF to delete the answer keys. Some parents may want to delete the quizzes too. I have fun with my kids looking ahead and saying, what is on the quiz? Did I miss this? Can I go study this real quick? Are they going to get to keep the guidebook open while they do the quiz? No. I have one child I print it out for. I have one child I read it out loud to her. So no, I don't go and like just let them sit there and do the quiz while the book is open. So like for me, I'm fine with them having the quiz. Some parents may not. You can go into PDF and delete the quizzes and the answer keys, and then what I do is I save that as a separate file and I put guidebook for teens. And then I email that to my teenagers because they have to have email to access Khan Academy and Duolingo anyways on their Chromebooks. So I email it to them. They click on it, it downloads as a PDF. They have readable PDF format because we have a family plan. And then they can look at it and read the guidebook to go along with it, and then my AP student can do some of the extra supplemental work to go with it, and then my visual learner can just watch this as many times as she needs to and then take the quiz. So that's kind of like the balance of it, and the pros and cons of it is, I mean, you do have to have the DVD player obviously for a DVD curriculum. My Blu-ray player does just fine. It plays just fine in my van. I knew some of the older models that had DVD players sometimes wouldn't play like stuff like this. It had to be like from Disney or like a big name company, but ours does just fine playing this. And then like you do have to have that disc player, but the rest of it you can just do as you go. And the accreditation program, I just leave it downloaded onto my phone. Like I emailed it to myself and downloaded it. And then like if I'm in the middle of a storm, like, oh hey, I forgot my shopping list for it, then I can pull up the accreditation program and get my shopping list for the science experiments for that week. But so far I'm loving the balance. It's not like overly labs, but it's not overly read these 20 pages of chemistry compounds, blah blah blah, and memorize them before your quiz. So far 5 weeks in, so far it's mostly just history with the basic fundamentals of chemistry, and so far we're really loving it. I will give you guys another review at the end of the year or beginning of next school year of how much we like it, and then I'll also around the same time do our physics 101 overview. But I would, and again, this is not a sponsor, it's just this is what we're using. I told you guys when I did the unboxing, I would let you know when we got to chemistry 101 my thoughts on it. My thoughts on it so far is we really love how it's teaching history of chemistry, but not in like a boring way of, oh no, I've got to sit through this history lesson before I can get to the fun exploding stuff. It was done in a very fun way. It's informative, it's biblically based, which was again our goal, but it also teaches science in a way that my visual and AP learners and the ones in between really love learning science. That's it for this video today, guys. Thank you to all members for supporting this content and allowing us to continue making videos. Thank you to all of you, all of our new viewers for watching the homeschool videos and the grocery hauls. Again, I'm hoping to have some more travel videos coming up soon, but we'll have to see how weather goes because it's September in East Tennessee and the weather is always up in the air. And Matt would say intend your pun, so I will not say no pun intended. And I just opened this up while I was trying to do this, so leave it close. Thank you so much to all of you for liking, watching, positive comments, and subscribing, and we will see you next time.